Welcome to the world of wireless IoT. My name is Niklas van Boxler and I am pleased to welcome you to the now already second season of the webcast Let's Talk Wireless IoT. We talk to exhibitors and to sponsors of the Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2022 to find out what they have prepared for the exhibition and for the conference, how they are reacting to the current challenges and what they expect from the event. Today I talked not only to Thomas Weisshaupt, but to a special guest as well, and both from Wirepas. Let's keep the introduction short and jump right in. Looking forward to welcome you on the 19th and 20th of October for the Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2022. So, and I welcome Thomas Weisshaupt from Wirepas. He's Managing Director Germany, and I look forward to an informative, exciting talk about Wirepas, the growing ecosystem, what is going on at Wirepas, and of course, what they will be presenting on-site at the show, at the booth, but also in the conference as well. So, Thomas, how are you?
I'm very fine. Thanks for the warm welcome, Niklas. It's always a pleasure to have this interview prior to the Wireless IoT event. So things cooled down a little bit in Munich. So luckily the hottest day is over. So we can start with a fresh mind today.
Absolutely, Thomas. We survived yesterday, so we can check that as done and start to talk about Wirepas and the Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2022. Before we start our talk, I would like to just add some background information. So the first information would be the Wirepas booth is not what we would call a regular booth. I think we can put it this way, Thomas. It is not only the largest booth on site, but Wirepas will not be represented only Wirepas, but joined by numerous partners on site from the ecosystem that will show what is possible. But I think we go in detail about that later on today. But the important information is the partners will be on site at the booth as well to make sure to stop and not only talk to Wirepas but also see in detail what is possible. And the last background information is Wirepas is not only part of the event as an exhibitor, but also as a gold sponsor this year as well. And I can tell you, Thomas, it's great to have you on board as a gold sponsor. These strong partners make it definitely easier to push the event forward. But for now, enough background information, Thomas. Let's start to talk. So, shall we start already with the first question?
Go ahead, please.
All right, so here it is. Wirepas has already been an exhibitor since 2019, before Corona. So what expectations do you have for the Wireless IoT 2022?
So first of all, that the heating works in Wiesbaden, so that we are not running into this kind of next trouble in Germany. And that we have a warm house, and that we are not touched too much with another corona wave that prevents especially visitors from the outside of Germany to join the event. From the event itself, we're expecting, and this shall put you a bit under pressure, a lot. We are expecting focused visitors. So we have restarted events recently. And what we have been realizing in all the events is that the number of visitors, so we won't see record numbers of visitors, looking back at Embedded World or Logimat, where we have also participating. But what we saw is an increase in seriousness and focus of the visitors. So we have more serious talks, more real projects, and this is also our expectation that we are having good discussions, but also good results afterwards, so that it leads to business afterwards. That's our expectation, in a way.
Yeah, and we do our best, of course, to fulfill this expectation. Like you said, quality before quantity, to have these kind of talks to make sure that the questions basically that the visitors have are answered, and so a match is made and can lead to forward cooperations. All right, should we already move on to the second question?
Go ahead, please. I think we should have a pretty running dialogue, and it's fun.
All right, okay. So how has the year been for Wirepas?
It's a good question. The year has if you look at your weekly progress, you feel nothing happens in some weeks or in some days. If you do a retrospective, like you asked me about the last year, so what happened since the last wireless IoT event, I can tell you there is a lot of things have happened inside Wirepas, in the market, in the ecosystem, and let me give you some highlights on that. So during the last event, the International Telecommunications Union has recognized an ETSI standard called DEC New Radio as being a 5G standard. And Wirepas has been one of the major contributors to this standard. So as you might know, all wireless technologies have been evolving from a proprietary technology to a kind of standard. And Wirepas has gone down the same path now. So we have been standardizing the way we are accessing a radio spectrum in the 1.9 gigahertz band through the ETSI TC DECT. And this standard that has been, for sure, a collaboration work of many companies, but Wirepas has been, let's say, leading or leading contributor in this radio access part. This has been recognized as the first non-cellular, so the first standard that is recognized the 5G technology, fulfilling all the requirements and performance KPIs that are set or that were set by the ITU for a 5G technology, especially on the area of massive machine type communication. And it's the first time a kind of XG standard has been developed and is under control of somebody else but 3GPP, which is the cellular community. And this also leads to a kind of, I would say, Cambrian explosion of business models with a massive IoT in the next couple of years, because people now have access to a new to own spectrum for this kind of technologies, where Wirepas is the first implementation of the standard. We are launching this first, let's say, development kit or development SDK and also hardware together with Nordic, I guess, next year. And we are working very hard, or our engineers are working very hard in getting the Wirepas stack operating on this physical layer, which, by the way, is the same as the physical layer we see in 3GPP, because it's extremely good work. But it's another radio access. It's let's say it's a very similar radio access as Wirepas uses it in the proprietary 2.4 gigahertz. And we are providing this SDK and the development opportunities to all partners out there, starting I think in the first half of next year, with hardware coming from Nordic Semiconductors.
All right, so that's pretty huge news for Wirepas. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but that would take a lot of complexity in the future. You said now that you're expecting increasing over the last years. Maybe you could specify more what you mean by this time span, but it would take a lot of complexity out of those projects, if I understood you right.
Yes. So the major difference is that you don't have to refinance extensive infrastructure for connecting your devices. Because in this 5G standard, DEC New Radio, as it's called, we are using the devices as being the routers and access points. So they are building an autonomous decentralized mesh network, like you can already experience in the 2.4 gigahertz with the Wirepas mesh. And so the focus of the development budgets and the innovation budgets in the IoT can now be on the application and device side. And the solution builder has a huge amount of freedom in order to develop, or for developing, his tailor-made solution on top of this connectivity. And that's something completely different from investing in a coverage in your campus or in your area, or from having to refinance through recurrent subscription fees. This does not mean that we are replacing cellular networks. That's by far not the case, because they play a big role in the consumer and mobile broadband and also ultra low latency mobile applications. But if you're going to massive machine type, it's simply not feasible to connect millions of devices in a square kilometer with single masts of a network. And that's why we feel that is a very complementary technology, just unleashing the potential for many more use cases in large scale, so that we finally can reach the numbers of connected devices that have already been foreseen in the reports of guys like Ericsson or Gardner or all these very humble analysts.
All right, all right. So on the one side, you have you took out some kind of the complexity of those systems, and on the same page, the costs are reduced to implement those systems, and that makes it possible to use those free resources to concentrate on specific parts of the project and make it even more efficient, because you can use that energy and money on exactly where you want to. Is that correct?
Correct. So if you work with Wirepas, you simply take a make or buy decision. Either you make your own connectivity suite, which means you take some basic technology, put a lot of features and functions on top of it, be it over-the-air updates, be it monitoring tools, and so on. Yeah. Or you are accessing an existing and maintained protocol like Wirepas, and you can focus on where you have your strengths, which is in most customer cases the process and the application layer, and we are facilitating that. And there are two more big advantages of this new standard, for at least for the, let's say I'm now speaking from the German and European perspective. It's a European standard, and it does not require infrastructure coming from other geographies or being controlled with the IP from other geographies. That's one big topic. So we have what we call data control and network autonomy. So if you are running a DEC new radio network with Wirepas, you are under full control over the whole life cycle of all your network devices, and on how you push the data out. And maybe one last thing about that is we learned, because Wirepas is operating in a very crowded spectrum of 2.4 gigahertz.
Yeah.
So we have one of our major advantages is that we offer the reliability of the connection in the mesh network, in the routing mesh network, in this crowded spectrum, because we learned how to coexist with others. And this is now one of the fundamental design principles of the 5G tech new radio is coexistence. So even as a service provider, you can now control your application on the customer premise end to end in a spectrum that is not overcrowded, and where every device behaves spectrum friendly. So that means you can run these 1 million devices on a square kilometer with multiple applications that do not disturb. There's no interference foreseen and no collisions that are, at least if you comply to the standard and if you get the FCC or CE approval for this spectrum, there is that's why I talk about a Cambrian explosion. So you can really think of smart cities. Yeah, you can really deploy fastly end-to-end applications and offer your customer a kind of service level, including the connectivity layer, so that the data is really ending up in your system. Or you have self-sustained systems like lighting controls and so on, where you don't even need access to the internet. And that's something we already started with a 2.4 gigahertz on a proprietary basis, but this switch to 5G standard is also opening up for our, let's say, customer base, for example, a lot of funding opportunities. And if you look at the funding structure of a 5G project, we will switch the scope from 90% cost for infrastructure that are funded to 90% cost for the application development and device development and solution development, which in the end brings the value. And that's where I see a European 5G approach, which is decentralized, democratized, and can be deployed anywhere, anytime by anybody. And that's literally the design principle of this 5G.
All right. So So you add even more benefits to the list. There were a lot now already, and I would like to ask everybody to visit Thomas. You will be on site as well, right?
Yes, anyone wanting to know more can either directly contact me on LinkedIn or come to the booth. Yeah, and
Come to
also
the booth.
one of our speaking slots will be about this journey of the 5G, because it already
Yeah,
started in 2014. Yeah? Making a standard is nothing you do overnight. Yeah, so
yeah,
there has been
right.
a lot of work behind, and we can share a bit insights on that.
Yeah, definitely make sure to stop at the booth and talk about this. Ask your questions that maybe now pop up at your head. I can imagine that now a lot of people are getting some ideas what is possible with this. And if you see the list of benefits that are coming with this, then it makes absolutely sense to start to get in contact. But I would like to come back to we heard now very good news. And now I would like to come back to the part of the question where maybe we're focused on not that kind of good news. And the last year was also, well, after we had the, after I have to put it in some marks, after the Corona pandemic, we faced some numerous difficulties in Europe, but also worldwide as well. Just I don't have to mention them. But how was Wirepas and affected by this?
I would lie if I said we weren't affected by this, because there are two dimensions of this component shortage. I don't call it a crisis; it's a shortage, and there are
Yeah.
many reasons for that. As you might remember, Wirepas is a very simple business model. So we are not asking recurrent revenues for the connected devices, because we are not providing supplementary infrastructure or cloud or whatever. What we are providing is a deep technology that our partners are using in their devices in order to get extremely reliable, and in some cases low power, large scale connection. In our current business is focusing on 2.4 gigahertz, and we will continue this for long, in parallel with the 5G. And this means that we get paid per device shipped in the field.
Right.
And now with the component crisis, and it's not just the radio where Wirepas runs on from our partners on the radio chip side. It's also if only one passive component is missing, or only one MCU is not available for the moment. Yeah? This device will not be shipped. So there is a huge backlog of devices that will be shipped in the market, where we could talk about projects and we could talk about interesting applications today, but we can't, because they have not been launched in the market. Because no
Yeah.
new product manager or startup can order 24 months or 12 months in advance
Yeah.
X, Y, Z, K devices and components and put them on stock. So we will see a kind of delay in the deployment of the devices, which also affected Wirepas for sure. Yeah. And on the other hand, we saw another, and especially in the German speaking region, we saw another challenge, which is that the innovation projects have been put on hold. So new product development has been put on hold because we have this labor shortage on experts, which means these experts were now fixing existing legacy products, which literally mostly don't even contain a connectivity, by redesigning boards, because there was maybe the need to change an MCU version A to B. And
Right.
this means that also on the, let's say, design wins and design go to market of new products, we will see a delay, which does not mean it does not happen, but we will see a delay, or we have seen a delay. So these were the, let's say, the challenges on that for the last year on the component crisis. But there's also a chance coming out of that, which means that people who are doing projects in this kind of crisis, they really have a business case. They really have a need. There is a market. So we are much more focusing now, also as Wirepas. So if you visit our website, we have also taken off a lot of redundant, or a lot of, let's say, marketing-based information about end user cases, now focusing very much on our core product, which is the Wirepas connectivity suite, where targeting to developers who are building solutions. And we have seen less number of, let's say, inbound, or how you call it in the marketing speech, but the quality of those that came were extremely high. So people decide within weeks to switch from technology A to Wirepas, and that's something we are very happy about. Yeah, so that the sales effort per project is going, it's reduced because the people start to being educated, to being more serious on the projects, having done their business case and so on.
Yeah. And are you expecting that this will continue and even grow over time?
So I expect two things, or we are expecting two things. So the component shortage will be over on the let's say device production side. What is incalculable is still the logistics problem. Yeah. So if Shenzhen is going on a COVID shutdown again, so we will see other delays. So it's not all over, but we see that there will be also, combined with the recession that might be ahead of us in several regions, that we will see, let's say, the golden times for chipset vendors and especially brokers is over, and we will see no shortage on these devices. So at least analyst reports tell that in the next couple of months. Yeah, so mid next year, at least some analysts say mid-end next year, we will see the opposite. We will see falling prices, and this is something that plays in our hands, because falling prices of components means that it's more affordable to run large-scale projects and to implement them. And on the let's say on the market side, I see that, or we see a lot of, let's say a lot less research and POC projects only, and a lot more connection between researchers and real product development. And I feel that this will continue the more the companies and the economy is understanding that digitization is not about technology only, and about let's say greenwashing in a way, that it's really about the fundamental transformation of their business, and that data, where data plays a significant role and adds value, you will see massive scale IoT where it makes sense. It doesn't make sense everywhere, but where it makes sense. You only implement devices and do networks and build stuff in the field when you have to. So it's not nothing you do as a hobby.
Right, absolutely.
If you get the data elsewhere, you're taking an API to the other cloud and take the data in your, unless it's a strategic decision. So we are facing this seriousness on the customer side, that more and more the business side and let's say the business cases are analyzed thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay. So that is a let me say partly positive view for the future, and also in this special times, like you said, the more pressure also changes the way we are working, and for example researchers are working, and maybe brings us more together exactly on the points where we should meet to make it even more efficient, to make the research even more efficient, to make it more usable, and that could be some positive outcome as well. But let's come back to the positive side of our talk today. Just one more question regarding the news of 5G. So not only you as an expert, of course, will be at the booth and talking about it, but there will be some more information at the booth about this as well, because I can imagine that a lot of people are now thinking about this and want more information.
Yes. So at least the thing is, we have an ongoing business with a lot of partners who are also looking into how their solutions can benefit from let's say porting the Wirepas solution to the 5G, because on our side, the implementation, the software development kit will be exactly the same. So if you start today with a very decent 2.4 gigahertz analysis and product, you can add the other physical layer, the other radio spectrum, very easy later on when the hardware is available and when the product is going to market. So nothing should prevent you from looking into your business case today. And that's exactly what our partners that are on the booth are doing today. So we have, I always compare Wirepas a bit with a magic hat that we give to solution builders. Yeah? And they are pulling something amazing out of the head, which sometimes we are also surprised of what is possible that fits in the head, that can be done with Wirepas. Let me give you an example for this year. We have a partner called Ingi on the booth. And if we are lucky, we can also announce that Ingi is working with a very, very large lighting company in Europe on combining wireless lighting and Wirepas mesh lighting control. So Ingi is a software supplier that is literally developing on top of Wirepas, let's say pulling out of the head a very, very good lighting control application. So that could replace the legacy cable control systems, and has, by the way, a significant cost reduction as a result. But on the other hand, this lighting system can be used as a backbone for the Wirepas mesh for example, in a warehouse or in a hospital, yeah? Where you then can track your assets very simple through the lighting infrastructure. Yeah?
Right.
And this combination of, let's say, this breaking of silos, this is something the innovative players in our ecosystem are doing every day. And Ingi will be present at Wireless IoT, which is definitely not a light and building event, yeah? Because we can look at the combination of, okay, the procurement guy for the light, he saves 30% on the lighting control, yeah. And the facility manager or the let's say the logistics manager, intralogistics manager, now has a full infrastructure in place without pulling one cable to track his assets, to have a lot of, and then our other partners from the platform sides, like we will see a company like Indutrucks, we will see a company like Kinexon, we also have, they will not be present, but in Pixon and Bornemann will be present. They then offer the next level services into this infrastructure, which is the let's say the capturing of this asset tracking data that is delivered through the lighting mesh, yeah. And they will then place it on a map and connect to the SAP systems, everything where Wirepas, I'm so far away from it that I can't even imagine what you can do with this data. But this combination of facility and shop floor is the first time we can really showcase that, and we can really discuss that as a product, as a solution in the field. And wireless IoT will be let's say the first place where we publicly speak about that. Another let's say interesting novelty will be that Wirepas has an inbuilt localization function on the radio side. So we are measuring radio signals. Yeah, this leads to a very good, very low cost infrastructure with the battery. So we talked about that the last years. That's still a very good argument for working with Wirepas on the, let's say, low power and low cost asset tracking. But on the other hand, there are companies who say that in certain areas or for certain products, we need the accuracy of 1 centimeter, 10 centimeters, or 15 centimeters. And one of our partners will showcase on the booth how they use Wirepas in order to increase the accuracy in a let's say in a range of which we measure in centimeters and not in meters. Okay. And that's also something completely new because it also breaks a bit the silos of technology, saying, okay, there is ultra wideband with own infrastructure, there is Wirepas, there is Bluetooth. How many infrastructures should I deploy? And now we are having a versatility within one solution between the technologies, and Wirepas is a bit the connecting glue, and we'll showcase that on the booth as well. Yeah, and the result for the end customer is very simple: low cost implementation, no maintenance, and extreme well-positioned and extreme motivated partners, like I said, with the on the platform side, guys like Bornemann, Kinexon, like Indutrax, Pixon, who are on the one hand competitors, but on the Wirepas booth they are together. It's a bit like this car, you know, these roads when you enter a city where one car dealer is next to the other, yeah? Making it
Right.
easy for the visitor to find not only the Wirepas basic technology, but also the right solution provider for his or her problem. Yeah? And that's something we are very proud of, that we could have focused and built this kind of ecosystem in the German-speaking region thoroughly. Other players that are there, to mention them also, because they're on the hardware side more and on the, let's say, uh, um, on the lower layer of the stack, but as important are hardware providers like Tatwa and also let's say packaged solution providers like Fujitsu, who are providing from module up to the solution everything, and you can just tick the box. And I'm working on 2-3 others who might complete the field.
All right. So I think I very like your analogy with the magic hat, because now the boost concept of Wirepas is now absolutely clear that it's just so a wide range of possibilities that could be pulled out of this hat, and that's why you are on site not only with Wirepas, of course, itself, but also with all these kind of companies who create something completely new. Like you hand someone a bag of building bricks, and from that point on, he starts to build whatever comes to his mind or what he needs, and yeah, that's just absolutely great to not talk about it theoretically, but to have it on site, to be able to touch it, and to talk to the experts from the different partners who are part of the Wirepas ecosystem. Makes absolutely sense. And the two specific points you mentioned with, for example, the company Ingi sounded very interesting. And I'm looking forward to learn more about it at the booth itself. But Wirepas will not only be part of the exhibition, you will also be part of the conference program as well. So we now talked about a lot of different projects from partners of Wirepas, but also the news about 5G. What will be the focus of your lectures?
So the focus of the first lecture will definitely be about the 5G. And how partners can, let's say, pave the way to their solution. Yeah. So we are looking here for more broader range of use cases, broader range of also standards. So we are also seeking to collaborate with German standard making associations on the protocol layer. Yeah, so if you look at OPC UA, for example, who was present last year, if you look in the smart metering at DLMS, unfortunately, if you look at Omlogs, if you look at unfortunately, there is no real data standard on the payload for an asset tag. Yeah, so that's we hope we can work on that. But this will be this first part will be about this, let's say, general go-to-market strategy and facilitation for partners to get a hand on this magic hat, yeah, if they have ideas what they want to do with it. And the second one will be about the ecosystem, because we have been also realizing that on the end user side, Wirepas as a technology is not very broadly known. Yeah, because we are a deep tech company, we are not a marketing or PowerPoint company. And we have worked a lot last year on getting to be known in the end user market, so that there is the barrier for someone. It's a bit like, should I buy something new or should I stick with IBM? Yeah? And to facilitate our partners' success in the end user market, we have been partnering with a publishing house and work very much on much let's say better and easier access to the success stories and to the possibilities you have its Wirepas on the one hand, on the other hand, about information that you need to get the trust that Wirepas does, for example, not in the 2.4 gigahertz world, not intervene or have interferences with the existing Wi-Fi or Bluetooth infrastructures because of the intelligence our technology provides by, let's say, avoiding these collisions, avoiding these interferences, and also not fighting the others, but just get out of the way. And there we are working hard. We are working hard on the publishing of this information, on being found for if somebody is searching this information. But on the other hand, we have a company, let's say, motto, which is no bullshit. So we are not starting to become a PowerPoint company. Yeah? We are really sticking to the, let's say, Finnish companies. They stick to the fact and don't talk more than they need in order to clarify that how it works and how the success can be reached together.
Yeah. All right, that reminds me a bit of this Albert Einstein quote that if you can't explain it simple, then you're not that kind of a good teacher, or you haven't understood it fully for yourself. And that comes back to the no bullshit, to just keep to the facts and bring it on point.
Yeah, and also we are connectivity. Yeah, we should not talk about construction sites too much. Yeah? We know a little bit about that, but not all. Yeah? That's done by our partners. So that's why IoT is always collaboration play.
All right. So you just mentioned one thing that made me smile, because you said you're no marketing company. Like, I can fully understand that it's about the facts and the technology, but Wirepas is definitely known. Everybody who maybe saw Wirepas marketing on, for example, LinkedIn or on the website, I definitely invite everybody to check out the website, because it is a new kind of marketing, let me put it this way, and a very attractive one, well, at least for me. And there's a specific person involved in this marketing. And the person is called Mom, right?
Correct. So the background of this is so I said we are not a marketing company in terms of no bullshit. So we are not, the content we provide is really serious and it's what is there.
Yeah.
If you go to technical events, you always see on the back wall dots that blink and connect. And then you see boards and you talk about KPIs and features. All this we are doing on our website. All this we are doing on our customer presentations. But how can we be recognized, especially when we are in a growing playing field like IoT, and especially when we have been, let's say, a bit like Asterix, this little village that is in the middle of the Roman Empire. We are a bit the same with Wirepas and the private 5G. We are in the center of the cellular empire, pushing 5G everywhere in their sense. Yeah. So you need a differentiator, and I'll bring this differentiator with me, and this is Mom. So Mom, here she is. And Mom is it's a typical. So last time I was at Embedded World, I unpacked this, let's say, this digital twin, this analog twin of Mom. Yeah, I unpacked it, and then there was a lady coming, speaking a very Finnish accent in English, and said, "This looks like a Finnish mom." And I said, "It is. It is the mom of our CEO." And we know, if we know from 20 years experience, how hard it is to develop a new wireless standard. And you need to have a mom who takes care of her son, that he doesn't get lazy. And that's the whole storyline of our branding. Yeah? So, and Mom is a very funny person, but very serious in taking care that even if we are very successful, which we are with getting this 5G done and having a lot of good and excellent ecosystem partners all around the globe, Mom is taking care that we are not getting, over the, I don't know how you call it.
Lost contact to Earth?
Yeah, lost contact to reality. So that we are still working hard on getting the next level done. And that's the symbolic way, and everybody recognizes mom. That was pretty funny in the embedded world, for example, where we first time had this analog twin of her, and this gives you the 2 seconds, and we have for the first time not pushed KPIs on the back wall or best mesh of the world or whatsoever. We just had mom and some statement, the best IoT in the world, in my opinion. And everybody stopped, looked at her, and these 2 seconds were making people curious in asking what's behind. And then you're in a dialogue, and then you realize, okay, this person does not have an idea what to put out of the magic hat, does not know what the magic hat is, but you had a good talk, and this person keeps you in remembrance in his mind with this picture of mom. And that's super good. That's where we are starting to become a more marketing company, but it's a more, like I said, like Asterix. Yeah, it's more this Gallian village inside the Roman Empire to be differentiated. Yeah. And that's something very, very fun also for us, yeah, to be different, to be a bit more humble and a bit more, let's say, talkative about the Finnish culture and the Finnish way of developing technology. And we still have a serious lady behind us that takes care that we are not starting to bullshit in a way.
Right. So,
and she will be in Wiesbaden as well. Yeah, sure. As at least the analog twin.
She will be on site as well.
Yeah. We can take selfies, and you can take your. We will be seeing some surprises there.
All right. And when the future developments of Wirepas keep getting better and you're reaching new levels, can we expect also a face impression where she's coming close to smiling?
To be honest, I have to ask if that's even in the, I would say, in the DNA of a mom like this to really smile. But when you look at the videos, you have this gut feeling that she's satisfied for a moment. Yeah. So when you look at this video where our CTO Wille, whose mom she is, at least in the storyline, is in an ice bath for 6 minutes. Together with, and I have to say, it's a colleague of mine, is Ola, who's also in the ice bath. Yeah, not to forget him. And when they stay, the longer they stay, the more satisfaction she expresses, because he's delivering against his promises, and that's something you can feel. It's more feeling than seeing. I'm not sure if we are getting to a let's say smiling I don't know, marketing, like feel good picture at one point in time.
Yeah, that would maybe also spread the wrong message, because that would mean you reached a level where it is enough. And I think one part of the message is that it's always constant development and constant caring about partners, constant caring about projects, new information, development. So that's an ongoing process.
Exactly. And that's also, I must really admit, it's fun in this to grow in this environment, and to see the things moving on, and it will take very long until it stops. Yeah.
Right. Okay, Thomas. So let me recap. You will be the biggest booth on site, but not only representing Wirepas, but most importantly, through the Magic Hat, a lot of partners showing what is possible. Basically, what you can imagine, just like you said, pull some ideas, what you maybe need, what you're looking for out of the hat, meet the experts at the booth and talk about what is possible, and talk about different partners who maybe have different views on these projects, are specific experts for specific application fields. So all of that will be on site. You will be talking about the absolutely great new 5G development and also the ecosystem in the conference part as well. So we can expect 2 lectures, and on top of all of that, and that's maybe the best news of all of the just mentioned, mom will be there as well.
Correct. And for the audience, if you're seeking a solution, our partners are the best in the segment. If you want to build a solution, please talk to us. We are
Right.
here for you, and it's easier than you think.
Right, it's easier than you think. That's a great word to finish our talk today, Thomas. I have to say it was a pleasure. It's always great to talk to you. I have definitely received a lot of great information. I have a much more clearer picture now in my head. And thank you very much for all these insights. What was going on at Wirepas over the last year, your view for what could be coming up, and what is the status at the moment. Thank you very much. And the last thing for me to do is I'm looking forward to see you in the end of October in Wiesbaden at the Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2022 at booth 71.
Pleasure is on my side. You won't miss us when you join this event. Thanks a lot.
Bye, Thomas.
Bye-bye, Niklas.